Wedding Painter Academy.
Hello, I want to talk today for a few minutes about this very important subject, to me, very important, about the initial glaze in oil. Now, I know not everybody paints the way I do, so this won't apply to everybody exactly, unless you actually paint in oil and then take it home and your painting is dry by the time you hit it the second time. Then in that case, it definitely applies to you. My whole painting career, oil painting career, can be characterized as an exercise in transparency. If you want a pigeonhole to put me in, that's the one that fits. I'm that guy that paints transparent, layer, 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 and then of course interspersed with translucent and opaque. But this one, of course, is well, this stick is going to make a mark here in a minute, I promise. Okay, there. What in the world am I doing? Well, I am making some random marks. Let me see, who made this? R and E pigment sticks. That one happens to be warm rose. I picked out the colors I wanted to use, and I debated not showing you this part of the process, but hey, it's what I do, so why not show it to you? Now, the one thing I'm not going to do is do a great big mark right through the bride and groom, their faces, that is. I'll put a mark through their body, as you saw there. And finally, the last color I'm going to use is blue. Usually when I do this, I'm looking for colors that are slightly jarring, that are slightly contrasted to the colors that are already in the painting. And I will talk on some other video about why I do that at all. But I don't want to get off on that today. That'll be there'll be a whole playlist. By the way, every topic that I do here on Wedding Painter Academy, no matter what the subject is, eventually there will be an entire playlist dedicated to that one subject. I'm just going to give it to you in bite-sized pieces. All right, the medium that I'm using, my favorite medium for many years, is Liquin. I like it. The one downside is it's a little bit smelly. I have windows open here in my studio today. I've never had any trouble at a wedding reception. Nobody's ever said, hey, that smells too much, anything like that. Knock on wood. So it's never been a problem yet. What I like about it is that I've been using it for 20 years, so I trust it because there's a special serendipitous relationship between Liquin and acrylic paints. All right, now let's get going here. I'm using my favorite brushes. I use these brushes more than anything else, especially in the early stages of my painting. And at the moment, I'm doing the color on my brushes is oxide red. So what's on my brushes is about 80% or 90% Liquin and 10 or 20% paint. So I'm actually painting with medium, not painting with paint. And as you perhaps have already noticed, those marks that I made with those big sticks are much fuzzier and much more diffuse. And if any of them bother me later in the process, I just will rub them out with my brush. But right at the moment, none of them bother me at all. And again, we'll talk about why I do that probably in a playlist called Those Crazy Abstract Layers. And I'll answer the question, why do I do it? All right, so that's oxide red, but some of it got dirty because it picked up these oil sticks, as you can see, and that's fine with me. I don't mind that it's dirty. I'm going to pick up a little bit of Indian yellow and increase the yellow right here in the middle. And then Well, this is one of my favorite things to do when I'm glazing. I've now got dioxazine violet on my brushes. Now, not every painting should have vignette or vignetted corners, turning that noun into a verb. Not every painting should be darkened in the corners, but almost. Okay, if you follow my online wedding painter critiques, you will see me darkening, vignetting, again, if you will let me make up a word, you'll see me vignetting a lot of wedding paintings, and nearly always it makes for an improvement in the composition. But you have to watch out for rules like that. Every rule can be broken. So you don't paint by rules. You're aware of the general guidelines, and then you decide when the rule should be broken or not followed, as the case may be. All right. So so far I'm liking that better. I'm going to put these brushes in my Gamsol. We'll just let them sit. I might even go outside to clean those, because cleaning the brushes, swishing that stuff around is what really gets the fumes going. Now I'm looking for any color, and I have my favorites. One is Permanent Rose. Here we go. One of my that's my darkest red, and it's very transparent. That's why I like it so much. And yeah, I think I want a little bit of that. A little bit of that down here. And I think I want a little bit of it up here. So one of the reasons I enjoy the glazing process so much is I have so much control. I can add any color subtly anywhere at all. I'm going to pick up a little orange. I don't even know what kind of orange. I know it's not a cadmium orange because I don't use cadmiums. It's okay if you do. All right, that's a nice color right there. Let's add some more of that in there. And some, can you even see that up there? Barely. Adding some ultramarine. I already did dioxazine purple, so doing ultramarine blue is not really that shocking up here in this corner. And of course, I hate to pick on you, but it really does help to paint with two hands. Because if you tried to do this with one hand, your brain would be able to keep up, and your brain would start getting fussy and telling you to do stuff. Does that make sense? And your brain would say, hey, you need to do a little bit more, a little bit less. And you'd get all fussy again. All right, I think I'm done now with those glazes. Hang on. Nope, I'm not. A little bit of that brush is probably too dirty. Let me switch to another one. A little bit of phthalo blue in the bride's dress. And of course, this is often the case. You know this. A little bit of phthalo goes a long way, right? But that's all right. I'd rather have too much than too little. All right. Now, the next step, and I consider this part of the glazing process, is wiping off the glaze. So this is really fun. I have a nice cotton rag here, because now I have super control without slipping into control freak zone. Does that make sense? I have super control because the harder I push and the more I rub, then the more paint comes off the canvas. But if I just, like right now, I'm rubbing very gently. After this, I do a fuzz layer there, and there'll be a whole playlist on fuzz layer, then pencil, then dark layers, and so on. That's as far as I'm going to go. So what comes next is light. Thanks for watching.